This episode is sponsored by Creator Source. It's an all-in-one platform that helps creators monetize their social media following with a custom game plan, tools, marketing training, and brand deal strategies. Head to getcreatorsource.com/trust issues to get started today. All right, Natalie and Jacob, thanks for being here on the Trust Issues podcast. We're so excited to have you guys.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to chat with you today.
Yeah, super excited.
All right, so we just want to get into it. We want to dive into the goodness of your story and what you guys have built over the last few years. You know, it's funny because we have a lot of similarities. We met at 14, high school sweethearts. I know you guys are similar as well. So, but what I think is really inspiring is you guys also run a business together. So running an empire together, a fashion brand, and I know that, you know, we can speak for ourselves in saying that success isn't linear, but, you know, there's a lot that goes into building what you guys have. So we'd love to hear from you. Just tell us kind of the story of where you got to where you are today.
Yeah, so Jacob and I met when we were 15 years old on the soccer field, actually. We were both like volunteer coaching for a youth soccer team. So we were just coaching soccer. We both kind of were there, and that's how we met. And it was for his little sister's team. And in high school, we started dating. And actually, in high school is when we started our first company together. So we started a sports business when we were 18 and 19 years old because we met coaching soccer, and we just were like, well, actually, we had this opportunity to start our own sports business at a local daycare center because my aunt was the director there. And so I was like, yeah, I would love to teach kids how to play soccer. That sounds so fun for me. And him and I were dating at the time, and I begged him to come on the field with me to just do it together. And once we were on that field together and we started getting more kids into our programs and stuff, so that's when we realized entrepreneurship is so cool because you can take something that you love and you can put it into a business and make money from it. And we just got so excited at 18, 19 years old. And so that's when our journey for entrepreneurship started, very young age. And then we went into college. We were still doing our business kind of on the side, going to school. And then in college, when I was about to graduate, Jacob kind of got this like feeling. He told me, he was like, you know what, I don't know if we want to do just this company forever. I have other excitements. Like I really want to try going into the online space. And so he started dreaming a little bit. And that's when we took a leap and we decided to start our fashion brand as well. So that's kind of like it in a summary as far as like how we got started to where we are now. Do you want to chime in with anything?
Yeah, I feel like for us, it's like we didn't really expect to jump into entrepreneurship. You know, like growing up, I feel like we were right on that cusp of time where entrepreneurship wasn't a huge thing yet. You know, the social media wasn't a huge thing yet. And, you know, when we were, you know, thrown into starting the sports company, we didn't realize how powerful like us working together, you know, actually was. And when we started working together, we went from like, you know, like 10 kids, and then we ended up with like 500 players in our programs and stuff. And it's just because we love sports, we love doing what we were doing. But, you know, like she said, you know, after the years went on, that business was a really hard business for us to scale. We got it to a really good point. And I was just like, there's so much liability here. There's so much going on here. You know, I have all these coaches all over the place. We have 30 locations. It was getting kind of crazy. And it just wasn't like I feel like I kind of lost that passion, and I knew I had to make that change. And so I really got into like online marketing, you know, figuring out Facebook ads and stuff like that. And then I was doing it for other people. And then I was like, man, I hate doing it for other people. And I was talking to Natalie. I was like, you know, what can we do? And then, you know, she's just such a genius when it comes to what products women would want. And so, you know, she had the idea, you know, for the blue light glasses when we first started. And, you know, it's so funny because, you know, you're a big part of our story.
Erica is.
From that. So I don't know if you want to kind of jump into that. You know, she's a big part of that.
So it's crazy to think about and to talk to you now. Like that was 5 years ago, which I can't even believe. But yeah,
my mind is blown to think that 5 years has gone by that fast. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Like time is evaporating.
It's crazy. So 5 years ago, when I told him, he said he wanted to do some type of product. For me, fashion was just always something I've loved. I was that girl who cared so much about their outfits going to school every day and everything like that. So I always had this passion for fashion, but I didn't think that it could be what it is right now. At the time, I was just like, well, if it's going to be like a side hustle for us, I definitely want it to be somewhere in the fashion industry. But because we haven't done e-commerce before, we needed to pick a product that was kind of like a one size fits all, something that I could dip into fashion, but it could be something realistic for us to fit in our garage, you know, to start our little side hustle in our warehouse garage when we first got started. So I thought of blue light glasses because at the time, that was before there was a whole bunch of cute blue light glasses back then. Like they were all those ugly ones. And I was like, well, how can I make these cute? I feel like people would love that. And so told him that idea. He really loved it. So we got our first batch of inventory. And for marketing back then, like micro influencers and things like that, and the influencer industry was just getting started. I felt like a little bit. I feel like maybe not right at the beginning, but we were still on the rise of that. And so I saw the power of that. I did not have like any followers, but my strategy was just to reach out to people that I loved, and you were one of them, and just ask like, hey, I'm gonna launch this product, like would you want to make a post on our launch day? And you were one of the only two actually that got back to me and actually posted on our launch day.
Oh my gosh, I'm honored because look at you guys now.
I know, yeah.
Wow. But you know,
it's crazy.
Like, and I love the story because I am such a believer in that you need to be passionate about what you do. Yeah. And we have done so many things too. We've had so many different businesses. We also were in like a sports fitness type of arena. Yeah. We get it. And when you said, Jacob, about like losing that passion, like I can speak for you probably and say like, I remember you feeling that. So like, but it's such a testament of where you guys are at today, because when you are passionate about it, like it carries so much. You can get through the highs, the lows, the good, the bad. But so talk to us about how now Klassy Network is so much bigger than what it was. Now you have an entire range of products and you've niched down to something that, I mean, I'll speak for myself as a woman who hates the idea of having a bra line, especially after postpartum, my body changing and just things fitting me different and like putting clothes on and just feeling like frumpy. And you really have created something that's so inclusive for every shape and size. And it's flattering. Like it looks so good. So talk to us about how this product came to be and what specifically, I mean, the brami, tell us what it is. Like we need the tea, like give us all the details.
Okay, so we started with our blue light glasses, and like that was a great run. Like we were just blown away. After our launch day, we had like you post, I think someone else posted, and we did so good on our first day. We were like, wow, that was a success. It was just crazy for us. And we were riding that wave for a while. We were doing really well. We were like on track to hit 1 million in our first year. And we were just like, wow, this is incredible. But towards the end of that year, we were reaching that like burnout of like just pushing blue light glasses. And I was kind of, again, like in this stage where I was losing my passion, because I knew for myself that I wanted to start a fashion brand, but like the blue light glasses took a life of its own where we almost just became this like eyewear company and like, you know, focusing on eye health and all this stuff. And that wasn't necessarily what I was passionate about. Yeah. And so I was kind of struggling with Jacob about that and talking about how I really want to kind of pivot a little bit into a product that I'm really passionate about and is speaking to like my soul of excitement and what I want to create. And at the time, Jacob didn't really get what I was like wanting. I was like, I need a shirt that I don't have to wear a bra with, that has built-in pads, that's like so cute and flattering. And he was great because he was like, okay, if you want to do it, like we can take some of our profit and just invest in like a small run of doing your first brami top. And so he said yes to it. And so I just kind of did all the work, and it took like a year for me to get my first one the way that I wanted it to be. So that's why like we were just like, okay, we're gonna run with the eyewear for a while and then see how this can kind of work. So once I got that product, it did pretty good, but he was still like, we are known as an eyewear brand, so we can't just like throw this in. It's gonna be kind of tough.
I was like, this is gonna make sense to our customers. Like we've been pushing blue light to them all the time. Like we're gonna sell a shirt with a bra in it. Like how does that make sense to our customers? You know?
So that was a really tough time for us because I really wanted to pivot and we're trying to figure out how to make it work. But that is also at the same time as like the rise of TikTok and like Instagram Reels. And one day he just told me, if you want this product to work, I need you to just try to make it work organically first so we can see that like this is a good viable product to push, ad spend on and everything like that. So he told me one day, like, just make 2 TikToks or as many TikToks as you can today, and let's just test it, and I'll do everything else. And so I made TikToks that day, and literally that next day, we woke up to one of the videos hitting 1.5 million views.
Wow.
What? Talk about a sign from God.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my
go
God.
run with this. Oh my gosh, that gives me chills.
Yeah, it was definitely like one of the moments in our life where we were just like, I can't believe this is happening. That like electric feeling you get inside when you just know that intuition inside was screaming, and then you get that confirmation. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So that was the big sign for us. And then when he saw that we finally found people that understood the product that I was trying to bring to life, and we found our community of people, that was just our new business model, was for me to just make TikToks and make social media videos to talk about the product. And then we decided to start expanding and grow our product line, and the rest is just history. It's like that changed our life forever.
Wow. That's even like when you were just touching base with the story about shifting from glasses to the shirts, and it's like how you went to Jacob and were like, what do you think of this idea? I think it's a testament to you guys, because we go through this also with being together for so long, where there's such a trust and base that's built. So like when a shift comes up or there's a new idea, it's like, okay, I trust you. Like, I know, like there's like that foundation built in, so it's cool to see that, because this could have went completely different if Jacob was like, no, it's like, but there's that trust, and look how it's paid off for you guys. That's very cool to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jacob's really good about, I don't know, understanding and respecting my intuition, which is so weird. Like he'll say that, he's like, if you have an intuition feeling, like then, because
well, I feel like that's what you're really good at when it comes to the products and stuff like that. Like I'm good at these other things, and I'm not going to be like, no, like that's not what we're doing, And we had so much like, what could go wrong, So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And she really wanted it for herself. So even if she bought, 400, 200, Brammys for herself, and she could just pick one out if she wanted to, whenever, I was like, okay, let's do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, for real. I was like, I'm just excited about this for me. So at the end of the day, like I will wear all of them.
Well, I think that speaks to why you're successful, because you are selling something you're obsessed with and that you wanted yourself. And that's, I think, when it comes to developing a product, which I kind of want to go in on this, because I think anyone who's listening is like, maybe they want to start an e-commerce brand. They want to take this idea of what they love, or they have a passion. I literally, not even kidding you guys, I'll be in the shower and I'll have like, oh my gosh, I should create this product. I should create that product. I'm like, the other day I was in the shower and I was like, I hate this razor. I should create a razor brand. Like I have 100 ideas a day of like an e-commerce brand. Haven't like conceptualized any of them. They're all just in my head. But I think for anyone who's in that place of like, I'm so obsessed with this idea of this product, I have this intuitive feeling. Where did you guys start with this? Where would you tell someone to start? Do you go for sourcing first? Do you do product research first, like market research? Like, what was your process? Or did you kind of just go in? And is there anything that you would have done differently that you could tell someone who is getting their feet wet in the e-commerce industry, of like, where do you start? What's the smartest way so that you can be smart about it financially and strategically? Like, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I think especially if it's a product that doesn't exist yet or not in the way that you see it, the first step is to get a sample or a prototype made. And for us back then, we just went straight to the manufacturers, did not have that because I didn't go to fashion school. I don't know how to sew. I'm not like a real fashion designer in that aspect. So I didn't really know how to bring this vision to life. I just knew I liked these materials. I liked this type of pad. So we went straight to the manufacturers. And I think that was a way longer process than it actually needed to be if we got someone local here, like a seamstress, to make something here first, and then we can kind of send that off to our manufacturers. But we just started the sampling process all the way with manufacturers in China. So it was samples taking a long time for them to send it to us, and then us to communicate back to them. And then like a month later, another sample came in. So it was definitely a longer process. But now these days, it's just, there's so many more tools that we've learned, like creating something that you call a tech pack for your designs. And I personally don't know how to do that, but there's so many people that you can outsource to be able to do that for you. So there's experts on Upwork. There's people even like out in your community probably that know how to make those types of things. But basically it's taking your vision and then getting all the measurements to the T, like, you know, the chest width, the internal structure, the length, the total length, like everything in a little PDF document that you send to your manufacturer for them to take that and create that first sample for you. So there's so many things.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Like it really has to be a product that you truly love, because you're gonna have to market it over and over again to be, you know, successful, you know, so you have to really love it. You know, I think a lot of people who are trying to, you know, get into e-commerce, they're looking for a product that's hot. They're like, I'm going to find a product and I'm going to try to sell it, you know, and most of the time when you do that, it's going to fail like almost automatically. So you have to find something that's true to you, something that's true to your story, so that you can build all the content around that, you know, and I think like for us, it's like, you have to be able to tell your own story. You know, you can't always rely on influencers and things like that to be able to build that for you. Like, you have to be able to do that yourself. But, you know, for us, we had friends kind of in the e-commerce space, so we were also able to lean on them. So like we sought out people, you know, who have experience, you know, who have done it before. And could we have done it a little bit faster, a little bit better? Possibly, but I think like it all kind of worked out. Like, we learned so much along the process of us, you know, communicating with the factory overseas and things like that, because, you know, majority of the time you're going to sell a product, you're going to create a product mainly overseas if you're trying to get, you know, depending on your market, you know. And so you have to learn that communication skill and stuff like that. So us going directly to the manufacturer, I think, was good. It definitely it's a long process because there's a communication barrier, and you have to learn how to speak to them, how to be super clear with them and things like that. So, I mean, that's a big part of it as well.
Wow.
And now you guys have a warehouse and everything. Like I think it was yesterday. I don't know. It's like watching your Instagram, and which you slay on Instagram, Natalie. And I think what you're saying is like, you have to be using the product yourself. You have to be able to tell that story. Like, you're doing it so well. You're styling your outfits. You're showing your product every single day. And now it's like, it went from, okay, we're having this long drawn out process of, you know, maybe a year plus that someone could expect. You know, realistically, it might take that long to really develop the product that you really can stand behind. But now it's like, look, it's like you've got your own warehouse. Like, well, how does that feel? What does that look like? Where is the warehouse? We want the details on that.
Yeah. No, it's definitely crazy, especially for me. Like, this is my dream wardrobe that we've created. And I always wished for these products to exist before we created them. Like, I used to take pads out of my swimsuits and I used to put them in my bodysuits and just like hold them up against my chest because I didn't want to wear a bra, but I wanted that coverage. Didn't want to wear a sticky boob or the pasties because those always fall off. Like, there's just like so many issues with the bra solutions out there, and I always dreamed of this product line. So for me, I'm like, I can create content on this all day, and it's been 5 years and I'm still like excited, you know, like this product is literally like in my soul. It is my passion, and I'm so excited about it. So that's really, really exciting for us, and to see where it is now is just, it blows us away every day. We're like, this is a dream come true for us. I know. Sure.
I mean, for us going from, you know, our tiny garage, you know, sweating in there, trying to pack orders during the summer. We live in Florida, so we're in Orlando. And in the summer it gets really hot. It's really humid. So for us to go from that, and then for us to now walk into, you know, 40,000 square feet of warehouse space, and all of our employees there, it's such a cool experience every time we go in there. And, you know, there's so many different ways that you can take when it comes to fulfilling in e-commerce. You know, like, you can go 3PL, you can go that, but it's not it never really appealed to us. Like, something that we always wanted to do, and I think something that's really big for us is to create, like, you know, a culture and jobs for people. Like, we love to have like people around. It kind of feeds our energy and kind of feeds our passion to keep growing and to kind of create an environment where people love to work. So for us to go, like, we have probably the best warehouse in Orlando. You know, we have a great team. It's so fun, and you know, we love everybody there. So it's super awesome.
I mean, just to see you take obviously something like you're so passionate about, an authentic product, and it just explode like that. That's just incredible to see. So obviously we're so happy and excited for you guys.
Are you creating content on social media that your followers love, but you don't know where to start when it comes to monetizing it?
Creator Source builds each creator a custom game plan with tools and strategies to create consistent income through brand deals.
Their platform has everything you need to monetize, including a media kit that helps you stand out, a rate calculator that teaches you how to price yourself for any brand deal, trainings, templates, and a contact database for you to find the contacts at the brands that you love. And there's so much more.
Most creators are full-time professionals, full-time parents, or both, like us. So Creator Source is designed to be easy to use and help you grow at your own pace.
We have loved using the Creator Source tools to explore our monetization options. I wish I had this when I first started out as a creator. This is why we're so excited to share it with you, our Trust Issues listener.
To get access to Creator Source tools, head to getcreatorsource.com/trust issues.
That's right. Invest in yourself today at getcreatorsource.com/trust issues.
What are some other milestones throughout your journey of growing Klassy Network?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot, I feel like, which we're so grateful for. I feel like the first big milestone for us, and it kind of goes back to just what Jacob was mentioning with growing our team and trying to create a good environment for people. Jacob and I's biggest goals when our journey of entrepreneurship started was always to hire our parents and have them be able to not have to work jobs they didn't like and be part of the journey with us. So I feel like our first really exciting big milestone for us was when we could hire our parents full time and have them work with us on this dream and everything. So that was definitely a big one.
Yeah.
That's
like
awesome.
being able to replace their salaries from their other job and for them to become full-time with us and do, build a family business that's definitely, I would say, our first milestone.
Yeah. And that happened within the first, I would say 3 years probably.
Yeah, wow.
So it wasn't right away,
3
of
years,
course. And my dad, he retired early from his job at FedEx. He was a manager there. He retired early and he actually started working for us before we could even pay him. He was just
wow.
I'll pack orders in the garage. So he used to drive 45 minutes to my house to pack orders in the garage every single day for the first year of him working with us. And then finally we're we can pay you a full-time salary. It was so exciting.
What a feeling.
So both of your parents were very supportive of you guys throughout your entrepreneurship journey, ups and downs, and that's awesome.
Oh yeah. We have a lot of family. We actually her dad was the first one. He works in the warehouse. He manages our inventory and all the stuff that's coming in, the thousands of boxes that come in all the time. He's making sure that's all good in the right spots. My mother works for us as well, and she does operations and HR and stuff like that. So she was a teacher for 15, 16 years, and then she did operations for another company. So she was able to kind of bring that, and then she's so good with people too, and people being able to open up. And I think that's really important. When you own a business that's got 30 plus employees, there's always something. Someone's always going through something, and people need a soundboard too, because you spend so much time at work. So she's so good at that. And then her mom also works for us as well too. She started off doing the TikTok videos, which went viral and stuff.
I love doing TikToks with my mom. She loves it too.
That's so awesome.
She's so
she
cute.
works in design.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, so she works in designs with us, and now she's our sourcing manager. So she handles all of our manufacturers and the communication, making sure everything is clear and so that our products come to life the way that we want them to. So yeah, all three of our parents.
Yeah. And, some more milestones, I would say, us getting that warehouse, going from our garage to, we went to another, other office space, but it wasn't a warehouse. It wasn't it wasn't super legit. We were in, it's an old bank, our business partner, he had this space and he was like, hey, yeah, you guys can use the space. And I was like, we'll take anything just to get out of the garage so we can hire people and people don't show up to our garage, when we're trying to hire. Yeah. So us going from our garage into that 40,000 square foot warehouse, I think was really big for us. That was really massive. And then I think one of our other big milestones, which happened last year, was our first big collection launch. We put together a full collection, because when we first got started, we were just okay, we saw this one brand we work. Now we're gonna keep adding a few, and we would add like one or two whenever they became finished. And then we were like, okay, we're gonna spend time to create a whole collection and do a whole big launch. So we did a whole bunch of marketing. We did our first travel campaign. We went out to California. We rented a big house. We had our models there. We flew everybody out, and we did that. And then
we did our first brand trip.
Which we had a whole bunch of influencers come on. We went to Cabo, and then when we got back, we launched like 2 weeks later, and we did our biggest sales day, which was $1 million in sales in one day for us, which was awesome. Amazing.
Yeah. So that was like tears. We were all just like crying, and it was like the biggest, like even to this day, we just look back on that day and we're like, wow, that day was just something that I want to feel forever. It's just such a great day.
You guys are awesome. This is so amazing. It's like truly the entrepreneurship journey, right? It's like, and so obviously the highs are there, but would you speak to a couple of maybe the challenges, like a couple of the hardest moments? Because if anything we know, right? Like the good always comes with the challenging too. Yes. So what are some things that you guys have had to face that you've overcome in your business?
Yeah, I mean, especially getting into the e-commerce space when was a new world for us. You know, we did entrepreneurship, but we did our service-based company before this. So when we first got started, it was not an easy journey for us at all. I remember that first year, we were doing really well in sales. Like we said, like on track for $1 million in the first year in sales. And we were doing great, but we also were like, we don't even know what we're doing. Like, this is so hard. We were just always figuring it out, trying to just like guess pretty much with our eyes closed. That's how it felt in the beginning. And we were always looking for anyone to help us. So we were hiring different mentors. We were hiring agencies to try to help us scale the right way, you know, running Facebook ads for us. And we were just spending our money in the wrong places because we didn't trust ourselves because we were still so new in the space. So if my biggest piece of advice for any entrepreneurs out there is to trust your gut and to trust your intuition, because this business idea that you have was planted in your brain and in your heart for a reason, and only you know what's best for your company. And I think we learned that the hard way for sure within that first year, because we were just like, here, I'll pay you to tell us what to do, like tell us what to do. And we got to a point where Jacob was like always in fetal position, I swear. He was always like this, like just like covering his head, just this is so hard. And you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just we spent a lot of money trying to figure out, you know, I think we were trying to grow too fast as well too. I think something that you have to do in entrepreneurship, like you have to grow at a steady pace and not try to get that you can handle, not set like, you know, you want to set big goals, but you don't want the goal to kill your business, you know, and it's not about that. It's about perfecting each process and learning along the way instead of trying to, you know, try to do something really fast. And I think that was a mistake that we made. We were just like, we want to scale this thing as fast as possible. We want to grow and do this and that. And I think that is really what kind of messed us up, and just trusting people that, you know, we shouldn't have trusted. And so I think that's a big thing, is like, you know, trust yourself. Like we ended up learning all the big things that are important. Like the things that are important in your business is like, you need to create a good product, number one. Number two, you have to be able to sell that product. So, and you can't outsource those two parts. Like you can have people help you, but you need to know that process. Like you need to know what works for your company, and not expect someone to take that on for you, and that they're going to figure out your formula for you, you know, because a lot of these agencies, they come on, you're just another client to them, you know. So
and everything's gonna be different for every company. Yeah. But at that point in time, when we were like in our first year, we were doing good, but then we had more money on our credit card than we had in our bank account, and we were like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah. I was like, that was the first time I was ever like, I can't pay my credit card, and so it was like I think we had like maybe $10,000 in the bank, and we had $100,000 on a credit card, and I was like, what are we gonna do? You know, like, what are we gonna do? Like, we're done.
We've been there.
Yes,
we got it.
We know that journey. Absolutely. Yes.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. So, okay, I want to actually circle back to where you talked about TikTok, because I think that, you know, the social media world and how you guys have chosen to market is so relevant. The social media world, there's just so much noise. There's so many options. There's so many ways that you can go about it. But obviously, you found a niche with Reels, with TikTok. What's your strategy on it today? How do you guys use TikTok to market? Because I think that if you are an e-commerce brand, you absolutely could give your products to other influencers who are already on those social media platforms, and they can promote your product for you. But you guys do it yourselves, and you, Natalie, do it. And that makes it, I think, super special. So what's kind of your strategy around TikTok and Reels and how you guys market?
TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, like all these things that have come out within the past 5 years are just so incredible because anybody can go viral these days. And that is just what is so beautiful about it, because they can literally change someone's lives. It changed our lives, like our whole family's lives, just for us to be able to connect with people and get that reach without even having to pay for it. And so for us, it like all goes back to like what stories we're telling and what like pain points and problems are we solving. And I think for us getting into this space, where we had that on our mind even when we started creating the product. So for us and like our strategy, I spend most of my time, not most, I will say like half of my time making content, and that is like what he thinks is the best use of my time. And 100%, like that is my zone of genius, as they say, where like no one else can do it the way that I do it, being the creator of the whole product and like the person who saw that vision. So for me to just connect with our customers and stuff is something that I feel like is just so valuable to us, and that is what drives the whole company. So I'll make a video if I get a comment saying like, oh, this doesn't work for a triple D chest size. I'll reply to that comment and I'll show that it does, and I'll get a model in and we'll have them try it on. And it's just all about really like connecting with your community. I think in the beginning, when you're first trying to get like go from 0 followers to something, a lot of it is like trying to just speak to people and like the general public by telling your story and just being yourself, being a regular person and talking about, you know, your problems and the solutions that you've created. And then from there, it's about just connecting with your audience and your community and seeing what they want and bringing that to life every day.
Yeah, I think what she was really good at is like taking trends and then taking those trends and putting our product within those trends. You know, like the trending sounds, like when TikTok really first got started, there was a lot of trends, there's a lot of dances, there's a lot of stuff, and she really knew how to like take those trends and highlight the pain points that our products, you know, solves and things like that, which helped a lot of the virality of our company and our brand. And I think that's what, you know, what we're really good at here and in our campaigns, and, you know, really showing a diverse, like, I think like size range that we've like built out and offer, and how many people it can work for has been like really big for us when it comes to social.
Yeah, like even though you guys have the brand Klassy Network, like Natalie, you're also building your brand. And I think that's like something for someone who's listening right now and you want to be an e-commerce, you know, brand yourself and you want to sell a product. There's something I think really powerful about you, because if I'm stumbling upon your page, and, you know, obviously if I see in your bio, it probably says, you know, it says Klassy Network, I'm probably gonna be able to figure that out within a few minutes, but I'm actually seeing you live it out yourself. And so I just want to point that out to anyone who's listening, is like, you are also building your personal brand. And so it's like Klassy Network lives on your page too, but also I get to connect with you and you as a person and you as, you know, a wife. And I think that's what makes it really special. And it makes it like, I want to watch, I want to like tune in, I want to see, and then I'll come over to the page. I'll come over to Klassy Network. But I think I just like think that's really unique. I don't see that a lot. So you're crushing it. Yeah, that's a total slay in my opinion. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Good.
I think there's like different strategies that we have, like what type of content we'll post on the brand page versus what I would post. And I think what I'm putting on my personal page, just more of the things that happen in our everyday life and like the characters in our life, you know, like I'll show me and my mom, we'll do the TikToks on my personal page, you know, like the dance videos or just the fun stuff where we like show our family or just show behind the scenes of things. Whereas on the brand page, it's very much like showing all of our models, or even, you know, the staff. Honestly, we have people at work, like we'll just be like, hey, we gotta show a couple different body types, like who wants to make a TikTok at the office? So we do that as well, but really just keeping it like product focused more so on the brand page, and then having just us, I guess, on the personal page.
That's so cool. I love that. So being married, you guys work together. This is obviously the same boat we're in. One of the things we've had to figure out is how to separate that business personal life, when to turn things on or off. What are maybe some challenges you guys have faced with that? And then what do you guys do to deal with that? Like, how is your schedule? Like, what's your boundaries?
Like tangibly, I think like, one thing we try to do is like, we try to turn our phones off at night, like DND, do not disturb, like, have a date night. It's so easy for like work to bleed into, especially when you love what you do, right? It's like, when you actually like obsess with what you do, it's so easy for everything to be work, work, work. And for sure, there's seasons that is like,
I mean, we literally have to stop sometimes and be like, okay, this isn't work time. We got to stop and talk,
So and he's probably better at that than I am. Yeah. I'm like, I could work all day long and I'm just like,
same.
Oh, what time is it? And he's like, did you eat yet?
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But so yeah, how do you guys do that?
We've gotten better at it, but I feel like there's a learning process, like I think when you're first like trying to grind it out, like you're just so focused on work, like you want to be able to say like you have the perfect balance and you can do both. You can, be super balanced and really crush it at work. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes, like you said, you go through seasons, and sometimes you're grinding. You're trying something. Something big is coming that you're trying to build up towards, and you really have to put a lot of time in. And there's not a whole bunch of balance at that time. But I also think like we've also learned how to create balance. So I don't know if you want to speak on how we do that a little bit.
Yeah, I think for us, it's super important for us to have our morning routine and have that time to get active and work out a little bit. Like if Jacob doesn't work out, he is so grumpy.
We need to, we're coming to Florida. We all need to hang out because Kyle is literally the exact same way.
I'm so scatterbrained. If I don't work out, like I feel like I'm going crazy. Yeah.
Legit.
Me too.
Yeah, and like for me, it's not that serious, but I know it's good for me, so I'm like, okay, like I need to do it. So, but like I've learned how like he needs to function, and so I feel like it's part of my job to kind of push him to be like, okay, let's go get in our workout, let's get up, let's get moving. Because sometimes if he just like wants to sleep, which is very rare, you're usually up and at it and stuff. But just on some of those days where he's feeling down, I'm like, go work out. Like you need to start your day this
way. Or like
way.
when you get out of it, like we went on a trip, we did a photo shoot, we haven't worked out for 2 weeks or whatever, and it's like, oh, it's so hard to like get back into it and get that routine. But I feel like now that we've built a team that is working on all the things that we used to do, that we don't have to be in the mornings at 9 a.m. or start to get everybody going. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do now, so we get in around 11, 12 o'clock and we work late. We like to work like later in the day, so everybody gets started. We get in our workout. We go through our checklist of what we need to do today. She makes her content without people bothering her and stuff like that. And that I feel like that gives us the balance to like start the day off good. Mm-hmm. And then, we try to end the day. It depends, we try to end the day around 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of shut off. I like to play video games, with my friends. Okay. So that's something that I do. I like to work out, and then sometimes 2 or 3 days a week, I like to get with my friends and we'll just play some video games. So you got to find like that outlet, that creative outlet
for sure
that you like to do.
It's like as hard workers, you have to have hobbies too. It's like, what do you also enjoy to do outside of just working all the time?
Well, like you said, it can so easily lead to burnout. It's like if you're just stuck in that, nonstop work.
Even if you love what you do, I think
for sure.
Even if you genuinely are so obsessed with what you do, it's easy to do something too much, and just like also when you're in it so much, you kind of lose a little bit of that creativity. I don't know if you guys relate, but I know for me, like when I sometimes pull away, I take the day and I actually just have time to think or time to brainstorm. It's like, oh, like that's a great, my gosh, like all your problems really get solved sometimes when you just rest or you take a minute.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, now, and that's like, I think where you find that like the work-life balance is so much more doable when you're in your seasons and you have your rhythms too. We're so big on morning routine. You guys, like, if we don't have a morning routine, we're a hot mess. So I get it. Like, it's so important. So what about like the mental health aspect of working for, being, I think so like public on social media too. Sometimes that can, I think I can speak for myself. Sometimes that can take a toll mentally. Is there anything you guys do to take care of your mental health, to take care of the relationship you guys have with each other as well, outside of your own like morning routine and stuff?
Yeah, and I think for us too, weekends are really big for us. Like we don't try to work on the weekends at all. And that's the time that we need our space to just relax,
be with each other.
And like, I think a lot of people are always go, 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 but like sometimes you're more productive if you take that Saturday to have a slow day. And what me and Jacob really love to do every Saturday morning is we either go for a drive or go for a walk to like one of our favorite coffee shops, and we just have like coffee date, but it can be like a couple hours sometimes, and we're just sitting there, and we just like to call it like we like to dream. So like we'll sit there every Saturday and we'll talk about, okay, this is where we are right now, like, you know, where do we want to be, what does our future look like, you know, house, kids, like when is that coming, you know, just like talking about those types of things that I think is really healthy for our own mental health, because it kind of brings us back into, oh, we are people, and this is what we, you know, want for ourselves, and we take that moment to just breathe and just talk about it. And I feel like on a weekly basis doing something like that is really helpful, because that for me has changed everything, and now every Saturday we just like look forward to that moment.
I think it's also really good that we have each other, because when I'm down, you know, or like I'm stressed out, something's going on, you know, she's able to pep me up and get me going. And same thing with her when you know, social media, there's a lot of pressure, you know, that you got a lot of eyeballs on you. You're trying to make sure you do and say the right thing all the time, you know, and you have to make sure that, or you're just doing what you're doing and someone doesn't agree with you, you know, or they'll like come after saying like, oh, well, your product doesn't work for this, or it doesn't do that. And we're like, yes, it does. Like literally we have this, you know, or like we have this picture of it working for this person.
Hello.
Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? You know, like, so it can be kind of hard, and I think it's like having someone to talk about that with and kind of push each other.
Yeah,
that
I think
helps.
too, like having a good support system too is really good. Like our family is very supportive as well. And if I'm just like having a day where I just am crying and just stressed about all these things, I can go to Jacob, I can go to his sister, I can go to my mom, I can go to his mom. Like they all understand this kind of world that we're in right now, and the things that we do, and that it can be really hard. And it's just so nice to be able to vent and like let your emotions out to someone and have them hear you and just be there for you. And I feel like we're just so grateful for the support system that we have too.
So good. Yeah. I mean, I can speak to that too. It's like all the hardest moments that I've faced over the last few years. It's like having your spouse be in your corner. It's like we are each other's rock, and there's nothing. I mean, before we started recording, Jacob, you kind of started saying that, like how cool that you guys have been able to grow together. Like we've been able to grow through every season together, literally from teenage years, you know. And it's like you guys too, like, you know, you're going to look back, and I know you mentioned like kids a few minutes ago, Natalie. It's like you guys are going to one day have kids and be like, oh my gosh, like anything that your kids will ever face, it's like you've been there, you've gone through it, you're so like well equipped. So my one of my final questions for you guys is like, what's next? What's next for Klassy Network? Do you guys have like, obviously you don't have to tell us everything, but is there like anything that you are dreaming of? When you said going out on Saturdays and dreaming, is there something that you guys are dreaming of for next steps for Klassy Network?
Yeah, definitely. Like every week there's something exciting that we're like, oh, we should think about this. But I think something that has been on our hearts for a while now is just connecting with our customers in person. And, you know, being in e-commerce space and being online, it's great because you can connect with people virtually, but it's just so different to connect with them in person. And we've done a couple of things in person here in Orlando, but something that we really want to do before the end of this year is to do a couple pop-up shops and just get out into the community and connect with our customers and watch them like physically try the products on, because that is literally my favorite thing, to see people try on our products and love it. Like that's just my favorite. So definitely that, and potentially expanding. I mean, for us right now, I feel like it's still just the beginning. There's so much we haven't done with our product line, and there's a lot of really cool collections that are coming up that are nothing like anything we've done before. So I'm really excited because we've been in that creative space, and it's going to come to life here really soon. But just like building off of that, because our customers, we just listen to them, and they say they want more things. They say they want swimwear. They say they want activewear and things like that. And so I feel like for us, these are all things that we would love to create one day. But we definitely think about it. We don't have time on those things, but anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of cool projects that we're working on, especially like the products and stuff. And for us, it takes so long for the products to come to life. So we're super excited for what we have coming when it comes to products. And then Yeah, definitely pop-ups. Like we want to be out more into the community, and like, we've done like influencer events and things like that, but like we want to connect more with our customers, people who are like supporting us all the time, people who are really like in love with the brand, and we have a lot of that, so we're super excited to do those pop-ups.
Yeah.
I love it. You guys are amazing. We're so inspired. And after this, it's like no wonder you guys are creating so much success. Just like being in each other's corner, going through the highs and lows, ebbs and flows together. It's chef's kiss. I love it. So where can people find you? How can they follow along with your journeys as well as Klassy Network?
Yes, so you can find Klassy Network. It's Klassy with a K Network, and that's on Instagram and TikTok. Our website is klassynetwork.com, and then my personal account is at It's Natalie Rogers, and Jacob at Jacob Soto.
Yes.
Follow Jacob.
She posts a lot more of the content.
But I was literally stalking both of you. I'm like, you're slaying it too, Jacob. Both of you. I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, we have a lot of cool things coming up too, like to kind of expand on our story, because we focus a lot on the product, and so that's something else that we're super excited for, is like expanding on our story and telling that. So we've got some of those coming out soon.
That's awesome, because you have a very powerful story, so it's like to share that.
Heard,
yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being on the show. We're so glad that you were here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode on trust issues. Make sure that you subscribe from wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode.